Okay, well, we're back for part 2 of this podcast, and we're going to be talking about Tommy Robinson and his rally in London. It is rumoured that there were nearly 30,000 people there. How about that?
I reckon it was probably a little more.
You reckon it was more?
I just said it was a lot more than that.
Well, that's what they were saying, but that was mainstream media playing it down.
That's what they were saying.
God,
double it at least.
Double it. It was packed. If you saw those pictures at Trafalgar Square, it was packed. And there was only a couple of arrests. And yet the mainstream media narrative is far right.
Of course it is.
Far right. I mean, it just kind of pisses me off, when we start talking about it, and every one of them just says it's far right. I think everybody should just dump on them. Don't watch them. I mean, they're not getting that much anyway in terms of viewing figures. And I know that we have a problem with viewing figures. I mean, we've gone from 4 to 2 to 1,500. Yay!
Yeah. I seen a baby in a pram. I mean, I can't talk about this. I can only say TR because I'm under orders. Yeah. And I seen a baby in a pram with a little stubby moustache, right? It's the first time I've seen a baby like that, actually. But anyway, now whether it's painted on it, I don't know. But it was only 18 months old, but it had a little stubby moustache. And they was calling it far right. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but the baby's name was Adolf.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't matter what his name is. They're just claims. They're just claims.
It wasn't a him.
Oh, God, it wasn't a trans baby, was it? Non-binary. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They can decide at that age. According to all sources of information in this country, a baby can actually decide what gender it is.
Well, that might explain why she had the moustache then.
Look at the family. Anyway, a Tommy Robinson-led demonstration gathered in central London on Saturday afternoon as activists chanted, "We want our country back." Now, what's wrong with that? We want our country back. I
thought they said we want our country black. Is that what it was? Honestly, I thought it was that.
No, far from it. Very good. Thank you for that sarcasm, sir. No, we want our country back. And there were all flags there. There were flags from the Union, English flags, Scottish flags, Welsh flags, and they were singing renditions of Rule Britannia and chanted, "England until I die." That's even the Welsh.
We give them no choice, do we?
I'm telling you now, our Welsh correspondent is going to be sitting there going, "You cheeky boyo."
You.
Well, it was the biggest patriotic rally the UK has ever seen. And there were about 1,000 police officers deployed to the streets of the capital to keep the peace. And yet, to keep the peace, there was nothing gone on. Out of all those thousands and thousands and thousands of people who were there were 2 arrests.
Yeah, I think they had a little scuffle with the Palestine mob.
Which
conveniently were allowed to walk on by,
Yeah, without any problem. Yeah. And, protest groups like Stand Up to Racism and former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn's Peace and Justice Project, they were marching there to Russell Square. Right, from Russell Square to Whitehall after branding Robinson a fascist. What is a fascist? Tell me, what is a fascist? Is it an old guy in a wheelchair that's coming down and saying, I want my country back? Is that a fascist?
No.
I don't know. Go ahead.
The man without a penis.
Sadly, these lefties don't really understand the words they use because it's more akin to their side of the political persuasion because it came from trade unionism.
I know. It did a lot to unify people in the United Kingdom and to make them see that they're not alone, because most of the time people are too frightened to open their mouths and say, we want our country back. We're fed up of the way that this country is being treated, the way that the indigenous Brits, and we're not just talking about, when we say indigenous Brits, we're not talking about just white British. We're talking about people that have come in and integrated, or people that have been born here and identify as British. You don't actually really understand that these people adopt our cultures and they integrate. And, you welcome people like that. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you're British and you're born here and you're British and you identify as British, that's it. You're British. Go ahead, Gazelle.
And one of our greatest patriots is Tusi, Maya Tusi.
Yeah, Iranian.
He's Iranian. His parents are Iranian. He was born here.
Yeah.
But he's one of the biggest patriots we've got in this country.
And he's trying to, what about, Mark, just before you come in, just give me a comment on Andrew Tate saying, in Romania, look, you're one of the biggest Christian countries going, and yet you're allowing your religion to be attacked by, the French in the French Olympics, where they were having a go at the Last Supper and mocking it with trans people. Go ahead. What do you think of him?
He doesn't have to talk a load of bollocks, doesn't he? But some of the stuff he says is probably right. But to be honest, I'm not a fan.
He keeps sending me friend requests on Facebook.
Oh, this is a whole different topic. But I'm not the world's biggest fan of him, to be honest, for quite a few different reasons. I forgot what I was going to say now.
It's only since I've been in the Sundays he keeps sending me face requests. Friend requests.
No, it's not. It's not him, mate. It's people pretending to be him.
No. Well, might be.
Yeah,
very good pretend, though, if it is.
Yeah, they're all doing it, mate. They'll be asking you for money next.
Yes.
No, as you say...
If he knows me, he can't be asking me for money. And we'll answer that. Sorry,
Go on, Mark. Go on.
That's what we're up to. Yeah, like you said, they called it Unite the Kingdom. That was the event. It wasn't a protest. It wasn't a march. It was more of I call it a bit of a celebration of coming together, trying to build a community of like-minded people who are, well, as you said, fed up the way this country's heading. Many of them politically homeless. Now, a lot of the people who gave speeches have actually been persecuted in their own countries, in this country, by various different ways. And a lot of people now are just fed up and want a voice. But the whole narrative change thing comes into play again, because it wasn't just an event. Tommy actually showed a film, which was actually banned by a judge after he lost a civil case.
Yeah.
And this was over a Syrian boy who was apparently picked on by a racist English lad. This lad's had his life destroyed ever since. Well, actually, once you've watched this video, then you're going to see how they created yet another fake narrative and just how corrupt the system actually is. Because when you watch it, you'll see overwhelming evidence in the form of statements from multiple witnesses, evidence from school reports.
Yeah, people who signed NDAs.
Yeah, and undercover footage of people actually showing that the Syrian boy was not the victim. In fact,
he was the aggressor.
Yeah. So they couldn't have that narrative coming out, though, could they, seeing as they'd let so many poor Syrians in?
According to the documentary, that Syrian boy was the aggressor.
Yeah, and multiple witnesses, and they all turned up to court, but the judge took no notice of that. And again, there's a dodgy solicitor jumping in. Isn't there always? Someone's always got to make some money out of this. It's like another gravy train, isn't it?
Yeah, they're normally MPs.
Yeah, but sadly, well, they'll be involved somehow. But sadly...
Oh, they're all solicitors.
Yeah, the event brought together, like you said, so many different people. I think some of the foreigners, they're probably more patriotic because they've come from countries where they've been hard done to. And they've come here for the freedom.
For the freedom.
And our culture. Now they're seeing it be attacked. So, I mean, you look how anyone can paint that rally as far right now is just beyond me. I mean, they were interviewing people as they were walking to the venue, to Trafalgar Square, and some people were just amazed, and they were like, "What? This is Tommy Robinson?" I'm quite shocked at how many people and how diverse they all are. People couldn't really understand. Now, I think the size and the momentum that this is building has now spooked the establishment to the point that the next day, Tommy was arrested under terror laws, which is probably all done to hamper his progress and get his phone and look at all his devices.
I tweeted, just to pause for a second, I tweeted that you can silence the messenger, but you cannot stop the message getting out now.
That's what they've done, isn't it?
And that's the truth. They've silenced him, but the message is already out. So they know that basically the government is corrupt.
Well, yeah, because this guy's literally standing up to what a lot of the stuff we've just discussed in part one.
Yeah.
Yet he's the bad guy and he gets attacked. Of course, these people are evil.
But what do you think of the infusion of the fact that Farage has said nothing? And I'm not going to involve the Gazelle in this one. Don't comment, Gazelle. But Farage...
No, I can't. My only comment is I can only mention TR.
Okay.
Well, which is Tracy Wrench.
It's just
from Latchford.
But
it's ridiculous.
What I mean, I saw Lawrence Fox put out a video on Twitter saying, Farage, why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you supporting him?
If there's a famous song, if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And honestly, these people who are hiding the cowardice, all these people who are attacking the real people speaking out the problem, it's because to hide their own cowardice and the fact they've created the problems.
Yeah.
These people are evil. They're going to attack now. It's not just going to be Tommy. They're going to attack a whole movement and its figurehead, which is Tommy, to cover their own cowardice and treachery. They've allowed this country to get to the state it's in, but they'll never join us to fix it. They'll just keep lying and committing these acts of pure evil. What type of people want to destroy their own country and then literally vilify the people who are trying to save it?
Yeah, but it's almost
horrible
like
people. That's who.
It's an eradication of the British in favour of a foreign invasion. That's the impression that I'm getting from everything that's coming across. And quite simply, in Cheshire, we don't seem to have too much of a problem. I mean, okay, the minority content within Cheshire is around about 7%, if we're going by, some of the latest figures. But in Birmingham, Rochdale, and these other places, hey, that is bad. And quite literally, the Muslims are going to be able to outbreed us because of the way that the rules are set up in this country that allow them 4 wives. And basically, they're going to outbreed us by 2030. And then they're going to start taking over the democracy.
It's not 2030.
Well, what do you think it's going to be?
Well, we've been through all the demographics before on podcasts, and it's not going to be 2030, mate.
When's it going to be?
It's impossible. If they're only moving up by like 1 or 2% in the population every 10 years, it's not going to be 2030, mate.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, Stats. You've got the influx of the migration, whether it be legal or illegal, which is 500,000 a year.
Yeah.
You've got the legal, which is 500,000 a year. You've got illegal. You've got the breeding. If you put the combination together,
it's a lot.
You're looking at 5 million.
And they're active.
We've already been through all this on all the podcasts.
Well,
I
think people should wake up, and I think the British should awaken and suddenly realize, hell, there is something wrong here. And I believe that the politicians are aiding and abetting the eradication of people within this country. The culture, the Christian culture, they're trying to actually it's almost like a sort of a slow genocide. That's what it feels like to me. And
what?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to clarify this now, because Stats will probably clarify it more than I will. So we have round about 400,000, 480,000 leave this country a year. Yeah. Brits, I'm on about, that emigrate. And
we're just guessing the Brits, though. They just give you an overall figure of who leaves.
They don't split it up, Trevor.
They don't say who it is.
Oh, what? So that might be foreign visitors as well.
Some of them are going to be, yeah. So I know some of them are leaving because they're like, we're off. This isn't the land of milk and honey after all.
Well, I've got that wrong then, because I thought that figure was 500,000 Brits.
Yeah.
That's what they keep saying, but I've never actually seen that proven.
Well,
that's all I can go on.
We don't see the full facts.
I thought that was 500,000 Brits that leave this country. That's what I thought.
They British could be Brits. They could actually be British passport holders.
Well, so I was basing it on that. So I'm looking at 500,000 leave every single year.
Yep.
Right? So in 10 years, 5 million leave.
That gap's going to be filled.
Basically. And you've got an input, which we know is 400,000 a year.
Yep.
We know that. So, and then we've got the extras on the boats, which I suppose in that scheme of thing is not great, but it is. It's still about 100,000, I believe.
Yep.
So you've got that many coming in. We've got that many going out, which I thought was, British people, i.e. doctors, nurses, etc., and just said, like me, I'll be gone in 3 years. I've had enough. I'm out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And all those type of people. So you're flooding the country with non-Indigenous, and then how long will that take before we have a complete take?
Well, they're saying there is word on the net, and the opinion is that from 2030, we're going to become a minority in our country. Stats is shaking his head.
It's really impossible because it only went down from about 83% to 75 in 10 years with the census.
Would you go live in Bradford?
It can't do. Like,
will you go live in Birmingham?
Years.
Will you go live in buy a house in Birmingham?
What's that got nothing to do with where?
Of course it has, because Birmingham is completely taken over.
I get that, but it's not going to be 2030. It's impossible.
It's happening now. You can see it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, tell me how then, because if the white British, white, if you want to call it white, population went down by less than 10% in 10 years,
we're dying off.
How can it go down another 26% in 5 years?
Well, you've got in London at the moment, haven't you? That the how can I word it? The
non-white.
We went through all the demographics.
Well, not non-white.
Podcast a while back.
Yeah, but in London in particular, which is the multicultural.
You can tell Stats is getting annoyed now.
Yeah, no, the multinational. No, but we are the white British. I can't say white British because that's wrong, because you can be like Maya Tusa.
Yeah,
he's not quite white British, but he's British. What I'm saying is the non-Indigenous British in Thingy have actually passed the 50%, haven't they?
Yes.
If you want to use the correct terminology, it'd be North European heritage, because we all originate from a certain place in Europe.
Yes.
Well, whatever it is, we can word it all night long, right? But we're now the minority in London. Yes. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, is that not correct? That's correct.
It is correct. We're the minority in Birmingham as well.
Well, we are in London, I know that. So what happens next in Birmingham as well? If that's the case, I don't know. But I know we are in London for a fact.
What about that cleric that wanted to buy that island of Scotland? And he wanted to turn it into a Muslim state, a caliphate. Unbelievable. The guy that owns the island. I mean, how can you own an island? How do you manage that? You own an island. He was selling it for $1.5 million. And this cleric was wanting to start up. And this cleric's got his own army in Buckingham, Kent. I mean, what the hell is going on? Why is the British government allowing that kind of shit to go on?
Cowards.
Cowards. Absolute cowards.
Tell you what, if they're not up for the job, they should just step aside and let the people fix it, because I'm sure we'll be able to do a better job than these divvies.
I think the army should just step up and say, get out. We're going to take over for a while, and then we're going to have some proper elections. Yeah, but we got a majority. We don't care. We need to be like sort of one of these South American countries and you just go, we agree with Trump. Get out. We want a new government.
Whatever way we can discuss it amongst each other and the finances of it. But the fact is, we've got a problem, haven't we? Because if our capital of our country, we are now a minority, we have a problem.
Apart from the real capital, which is the City of London. The City of London is the real capital of London. And I'm afraid that Sadiq has got no control over that. None whatsoever. They've got their own police force as well. City of London Police. Quite separate. And
Warrington's the same, because we can lend money to anybody. We've got more money than the Vatican.
Really?
Well, apparently, yeah, because we can lend.
Have you got more money than the Methodists in America?
Probably not, no.
Even the Catholics have to go borrow from them.
There's something just...
It's not right, is it?
It's not right.
I jest.
Not right.
Okay, so overall, I thought that the rally was a great thing. I think it worked out well. It reflected well on Mr. Robinson. He had some...
Unless I'm wrong, I mean, the chopper was a rally, wasn't it? And that was one of the best sellers in the 70s.
Yes, and two whites don't make a wong.
No, they don't. No.
That's a good joke. That.
Or two wongs don't make a white.
No. And as he said, after he accepted it, that something was wrong.
Yes, something wrong.
But anyway, that's the way it is. And I've used that joke about 4 times this week, and everybody started giggling and said,
I remember all those old ones. I mean, they were shit jokes. The one about who flew dung.
Oh, yeah, no. I remember when we used to have the Raven on, and he called us communists for having a chicken fried rice. But anyway, these are just...
those were the days.
Yeah.
They were the days, weren't they?
He just went on and on and on and on. We could have given him a Chinese song, could have given him a Chinese name, like One Long Song.
One Long Song, or was it Never Shut Up? That was another Chinese, a famous Chinese that lived in Indonesia.
The Raven's going to be listening to this. Hey, haven't we got any shout outs for Frankie? We should actually be saying something about these people. And here we go. Frankie and also Potter's Enders Gaming. Yeah, that's the other guy. Nice people. Thanks for your comments. And thanks to all the people that are subscribing, because it's growing, because we're doing quite well. And I'm glad that you like the content and what we're doing. And I don't know what it is about your fascination with the Gazelle. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, one of our subscribers, as you just said, it's Potter and Gaming. I think that's how you say it. His first comment, listen to this. How the hell do you people only have 26 subscribers? Watching for the first time, should be 26 million. Well, so funny and straight talking. Keep it up.
Well, we've got more than that now.
Not bad, is it? Oh, no.
It's moving up,
moving up. And he's and then a Potter Render. I think it's Potter Render Gaming.
Or Potter Enders Gaming.
Yeah, I need glasses. I can't really see.
Doesn't matter if we give him more
I've been told
plugs.
I need them. I just haven't gone and bought them yet. But yeah, another fantastic episode, gents. So I like that.
There you go. And also Frankie, who's been with us from the beginning. Frankie, yeah, we love you. Thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Bring down pride in the port, he said.
Yes.
With that, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to give it a go because, there's certain people on there that we think are, I think the word is, that's just me mouthing, some of the words, but there you go. Anyway, we're going to get moving now, and we're going to be saying a big good night. And if the Gazelle doesn't get back to say goodbye, well, then that's just tough luck on him. Is that your shirt in the background?
It's my shirts, and I'm just ironing my underpants and my socks for tomorrow.
They look like Long Johns, those underpants.
Did you wash them
I'm on
first?
a date. I've got to cover up the gift.
Did you wash them first, though?
I hope you did.
Just iron them. Just iron
them. Oh, what?
He's frozen.
Oh, yeah. And just for the listeners this week, I've had fleas in my house, and I haven't got a single pet. I had some pet fish, and I don't think they've got fleas somehow. So
you can get water fleas,
Well, it might be that. I don't know, because I've been bitten all around my ankles, and I've just been asking the neighbours, and apparently the next door neighbour's cat's been coming into the house, so I think that's what it's
about to say. If you've got water fleas, have you been bathing with the fish?
No, I've not been bathing with the fish. No, I've had my feet in there just to get off, that bit of hard skin. But I don't think that was anything to do with it. But anyway, so the neighbour spotted this cat coming into my house. So anyway, it's bad, and I've got to keep my window shut all day. I'm sick of that.
All right, say goodnight. Statsman, say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night to all our lovely listeners. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to check out all our podcasts on all top platforms.
Indeed.